Welcome back to the Curios Cast. This week, it's a Weird News Olympics special. The Olympics is over, Rob. How did you find it?
Is it over by now? Is that the timeline?
Not that you was competing, but yeah.
Well,
so as this episode comes out, the closing ceremony was yesterday.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean,
we haven't seen it yet.
No, we haven't seen it yet. But what I have seen was the climbing, and I was very excited about it.
I didn't even know that was in the Olympics.
Yeah, it's the first year for it. I watched it this morning, and it was sick. I've been super excited about it. Like, really looking forward to watching it. And it wasn't on iPlayer. Like, I went to log on, and it wasn't on there because I guess it's not actually as popular as I thought it was in my head. You know. But luckily, my dad gave me a login to Eurosport.
Who won the climbing?
Is that okay? I paid for Eurosport. That's what I did. What I just said there is not true.
What country?
It was It was qualifiers today.
Okay.
So 8 people qualified. There was like some big names like Adam Ondra and Alexander Magos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Adam Ondra got through. Alexander Magos didn't, which was a big upset.
That person's my favourite.
Crazy, man. Yeah. But we actually have a Team GB in the women's tomorrow.
Oh, go on.
Big up Shauna Coxey. So
big up Shauna.
I'll be watching that in the morning.
Yeah, I quite like the Olympics. I'm not that. I was just saying to you, I'm not that excited about it. Like, I'm not. You know, I don't come home from work. I'm like, oh yes, I'm going to sit down and watch the day's events. But you know, me and a few mates were just sort of on holiday, and we'd rented this house. And you know, when we're sitting around in the morning all hungover, we kind of just flick on, and we're like, what sport are they doing at the moment? And you flick over, and it's like discus, and I'm like, okay,
yeah, it's good.
And I watched like 3 like big blokes throw a discus, and I'm like, oh, couldn't do that. And then just flick over, and I start watching Comedy Central or whatever. Yeah, but I
quite like it for, like you said, like if you're just a bit of a chilling morning, and it's just something to kind of put on. And I like watching it live. Like, like you say, unless it was something like the climbing that I specifically wanted to watch, I'm not that interested in going, oh, let's see what random Olympic event. I can't pick one. But if I just put the live one on, and it's like you say, oh, discus, or it's archery.
Yeah,
I'll have that on. And
especially there's some that they might be amazing, like feats of athleticism, but they don't look impressive at all. Like the archery, for example.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's very, very difficult, but it looks boring as fuck. Like, it literally just like it's a sport that involves very, very little movement. Literally, the less movement, the better. and then you or the shooting even.
Yeah, the shooting's a weirder one. At least with the archery, like, there is a whole like bow tension. I mean, it's pretty difficult to pull that fucker back, you know, consistently.
Oh yeah, they're heavy, aren't they?
Stuff like that. But
did you see that guy shot the wrong target?
No,
he shot another competitor's target. I don't know how it happened. I just saw the headline when I was like looking up topics for this, but he ended up getting disqualified, or I guess you just get no points for that shot or whatever. But apparently it was quite a good shot. Like, he got the bullseye or whatever, but it was the wrong target.
Did you see that swimmer that was like trying not to laugh when, is it Sally Gunn, or is that yeah, where she said she said like, your third leg was really good or something. You can see and the other guy starts to laugh almost, and he's there like.
They done a pretty good job of just like, it was a little smirk, and they kind of like, and then
Apparently they all took the piss out of her like later on. they sort of like acknowledged it on the show, and
yeah, I'm sure. I bet as soon as she said it, like, either as soon as she said it, she was like, fuck, or
or she was like dared to say it.
Yeah, or she just didn't notice until afterwards. They're like, you said third, and she's like, oh god, yeah, I didn't even think.
Magnificent third leg or something, she said.
Or there was that woman from New Zealand who, I think she was a swimmer, or maybe not, maybe could be something completely different, but she's just won something, or placed really well, or qualified, and she's all hyped up, and she's sort of going from whether it was the pool or the pitch, wherever it was, and someone sticks a microphone in her face. She's like, how'd you feel? What would you say to your mum and your sister that's watching us? She just went, fuck yeah! Oh shit! And then she's like, oh sorry! And she's like, oh yeah! She like, she's completely was just like so in the moment.
No, I haven't seen that. That's good.
There has been some good like TV moments. That always happens, doesn't it? Like,
I think that must always happen. Yeah, because they ain't like necessarily designed for that. Like you're saying, you could just be like not really expected to be on TV.
Yeah,
and like being a minor sport one, you might not feel, well, there's no chance I'm getting filmed, so I haven't been like TV prepped.
Yeah. It's not like with the major sports, like all the football stars or whatever that have been on TV every weekend since they were 16, 17. These pole vaulters, like they're used to just doing it in a field with nobody there, and suddenly they're like in a stadium with cameras on them and stuff. Yeah,
like footballers and that probably even get like a relative amount of like TV coaching. They might have like a little bit of a thing if they know.
One of the I guess speaking of like TV moments from the Olympics, this is one of the topics I found when I was looking up Olympic stuff. But this was yesterday during the women's field hockey, and it was in like the final 5 minutes of the game, and there was only one goal between it. It was Argentina and someone, and there's only one goal between it, 5 minutes going, and the camera just kept panning to this cockroach. Like, instead of focusing on the actual on the actual game, you see the cockroach there. There was this cockroach that it wasn't like it was interfering with the game. It was like in the stands, walking along the barrier, and you can see like a video. They showed like a couple seconds of it or so, and there's like a tweet: Olympic athletes competing at a high level, not interested. Cockroach waddling, yes.
That's so weird.
It just flicks between. Who is it? Argentina and Spain. And
what a strange thing to do.
With just over 5 minutes left in the game and Argentina holding a 1-0 lead, the camera cut to the creepy crawler scuttling across the ledge at the event. The roach's starring role can still be seen on NBC's recap of the event. And I don't think it was doing it like during the actual like pivotal points in the game, but where they would usually show a replay, like the ball goes out or whatever, and they usually will show a highlight from a few minutes ago or what just happened. They just panned to this cockroach that was just waddling around on the outskirts. Weird. I thought that was quite funny.
What made them do that?
Don't know. I imagine there's so many cameramen and women around the stadium, and so many of them are just focusing on different players or the ball itself. Some of them are probably told to get maybe shots of the crowd and stuff, but I guess there's not much of a crowd, there's not, because
it's just trainers and that they're not allowed,
because there's not many fans that are allowed to go anyway, because tourists aren't really allowed over there, and all the fans that are there, are they going to be there for the it's not even like it was the final, it was just a game of women's field hockey.
I'm not even sure fans are allowed to even go. I'm not sure I think it's you're not allowed spectators at all. I think when you do hear some sort of people in the crowd, I think it's their trainers and stuff like that. And
I thought Japanese people could go, like if you live in the country. I thought you weren't allowed to fly in, but maybe they've changed that.
I heard there wasn't even. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard there wasn't even a crowd. So when you do see like some sort of semblance of crowd, I think it's just the trainers and stuff. And
that sucks. Because I was watching the beach volleyball earlier today, and it's the best.
Controversial.
It probably is a sport that has the most spectators that don't actually care about sport, or has the most spectators in comparison to what the sport actually like brings in. The sprinting, the athletics, the football. They've got people that do watch and follow those things all throughout the year. No one's actually following the standings on beach volleyball.
No, they're not.
And the disparity in the fans between beach volleyball and just volleyball. Like, it's basically the same sport, but when they're on the sand in not much clothes, they have like 10 times the amount of fans. But I remember in the previous Olympics, it was it's like a party in the beach volleyball stands. They've got some like pumping music playing. There's people drinking. There's people having a right old time. And then there's some people just on the beach playing some volleyball. And this time it's just, they were still playing the same music, but it just looked dead. Like there's no one in the stand.
Yeah, it's weird. I'll tell you what is a bullshit thing. Now, you're talking about like weird sports and that. It made me think, the fucking dressage. What is that shit about?
That is the worst sport in the Olympics.
It's so shit. It's a weird, sadistic, kind of like trippy, like posh cunts thing as well. Like no, like Queen Anne, or not Queen Anne, Princess Anne or something used to do it, didn't she? Famously for us, and she used to win gold medals and that.
Yeah, and then like
who else fucking does that?
Zara
like,
Phillips, I think, was like.
It's always posh royalty and shit like that, and crazy stuff like that. It's like no one's like, you know, Wayne from the industrial estate ain't getting into the dressage, is he? Like, it's the most bullshit fucking Olympic thing.
It is, and it's not even just like you know, British royalty, but even in countries like America that of course have no royalty or anything, it is just rich people. It is.
It's gotta be.
I saw an article that was saying that all the top what is it, dressage,
yeah.
Basically, if anyone doesn't know, dressage is just horses trotting about. They say it's like horse dancing, but the horse isn't dancing. It ain't doing no fucking moonwalk or and like, also,
it's all the horse. Like, I know it's the horse and the trainer. Like, surely the rider's input is minimal. Like,
yeah, there's a clip where the person like falls off and the horse just carries on dancing. Like,
that's brilliant.
Surely the rider's not doing
fucking
anything. The horse has just memorised this fucking trot that it's got to do.
Yeah.
When you Google just dressage, you know, Google says people also ask, and it has like suggested searches. The top one is, what is the point of dressage?
Yeah, it's got to be the most hated Olympic sport. It's bullshit.
It is stupid. And yeah, like you say, it's just I guess like the barrier for entry is so high. Like, you have to be just rich and
who decides, like, even if you like you know, person with a relatively low income and like you beg your mum for your horse, and you're there at the stables cleaning it every weekend and volunteering in order to get the stables. That's what some kids do, innit, and stuff.
Yeah,
some kids around here. You ain't then taking it, you know, to dressage classes, are you? Like, you're just not doing that. No one's. I don't understand where you even decide that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah, that is the worst fucking.
It's fuck.
It's not a sport as well. Not a sport
because
I think
it can't be good for the horse either. Like, it doesn't look like the neck's all fucked up and they're like
yeah. I think if they're gonna have it, then the person on the horse needs to dance as well. You should be up there, sort of like like something you'd see at a circus where like someone's balancing.
Dog dancing.
Someone's balancing on like a plank on a tube on the horse's back or something.
Yeah, well, there's a good Netflix documentary, and it's got a thing like about dog dancing in it, and it's like Russians are really sick at it, and they like do like this mad sort of like ballet stuff, or and like general like synchronized dancing with their dog, sort of thing you might see on like Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah. I can't believe that dog won Britain's Got Talent at a time.
Did it? Were they doing that basically?
Yeah. It was like called Pudsey or something was the name of the dog. It had a whole film as well. It won Britain's Got Talent, and it wasn't like, it was just this young girl and her dog that, the thing is, they just have a treat in their hand and the dog's just following the fucking treat. That's all it's doing. And then it won. It beat all these people. There's people that have dedicated their life to like dancing and singing and smashing back Ferrero Rochers or whatever they're doing. And then this dog comes in and wins, and then gets like a deal with fucking, you know, Universal to make a movie or something.
Yeah.
It's a weird fucking concept.
Shall we talk about the things that we found?
Yeah, go on. Would you want to go?
I think I just put chili in my eye. That's a fail, isn't it? I said this before. Like, have you ever touched your dick after cutting chili? And it's like, you only do it. I made a joke before to my friend. I was like, you only do that once, didn't you? But I actually did it twice. Not long after he said about doing it.
I think you've taken my once because I haven't done that.
Oh, mate, do not do that.
Maybe mine's to come. Yeah.
Yeah, do not do that. Well, some people might like it, but not for me. I'm pretty sure I just put it in my fucking eye. Anyway. Mine, right? Yeah, you may have found this in your discovery, but it's about the Olympic flame. Because I'd read about something about this before, and I tried to find a few different things about it, and this was the best one I sort of found. Right, it was like a prank with the Olympic flame. So, you know, like the Olympic flame, every ceremony, it's pretty cool what they do. Really, it starts in Greece, doesn't it? And then I think it's burning like constantly in Greece, and then they like gradually move the flame to wherever the ceremony is going to be. Or do they like pass it back at the end of this? Is that like what you do?
I think so. I can't remember if maybe the last host passes it on to the new host. So if, Tokyo now pass it on to Paris at some point, or like you said, if it goes back to Greece and back, I'm not sure. But I know
it always comes from Greece.
It gets its own like private jet and stuff, doesn't it?
It does. And it legit keeps flamers mad that you have to put a flame on the torch just for this Ponzi like tradition.
Yeah.
Which, again, as part of my research, this is actually one of the reasons for the prank, right? That it was actually the Nazis that kind of brought it back in the modern Olympic Games as like a sort of propaganda, like, look how good we are that we've done this thing. Which was part of the reason for this prank, as like a protest of like how absurd it was, really. It was in the 1956 Olympics, which were held in Sydney. Firstly, there's one little bit of trivia in this thing that's like, Ron Clark had burnt his forearm while reaching in to light the flame. So like, I guess that was the first guy that lit it. But yeah, during the Sydney leg of the journey, right, so the mayor of Sydney was like giving a speech, when the sort of flame came past, and he was meant to take the flame. He was passed the flame by a prankster called Barry Larkin, which wasn't the actual Olympic flame.
Oh.
So he's like it says in this, he's now a veterinary surgeon from Melbourne. They planned to interrupt the torch relay along with 8 other students from St John's College, believing that the Olympic flame received too much reverence. The fake torch was hardly a master forgery, which makes the fact it was passed off as the real deal even more humorous. So they didn't like really try hard to make it look exactly like the official Olympic torch. Which I'm not sure, they're quite elaborate now when you see them, aren't they? Have you seen like...
Yeah, I don't think I've seen this year's Olympic torch.
I don't think I have, no.
The last one, I don't even think I saw the one before. The last one I remember seeing was the London one.
I was going to say, I remember the 2012 one, yeah. I read an article actually while I was looking stuff up about this. The guy he was like one of the legs of it and he had it nicked, which is pretty shit.
You always see a clip of someone like dropping it as well when they're jogging through.
Yeah, I know. I don't mean while he was on it. He was like from his house. Like, obviously, he kept it as a souvenir.
Oh, shit.
You get to keep it, and someone had burgled his house and nicked that while they were at it. And it was not really worth anything, other than sentimentally. Anyway, this was just made using no more than a wooden chair leg that had been painted silver, holding atop a plum pudding can, and a flame was created using a pair of underpants soaked in kerosene, which I guess was part of the joke that like they made it underpants.
Yeah.
So it was just like purposefully ridiculous. After a shaky start, he ran with a torch to Sydney Town Hall, protected by police who thought that he was the official runner. And I think they got like, it's not in this one, I read in a different article, they got like one of their mates to dress up like, and follow him on like a motorbike, dressed up in like a sort of security guard's outfit, so that like to sort of back it up. And then the actual police started to follow him and like protect him. So the mayor just wasn't really thinking about it. He didn't look at the torch and went straight to his speech. And then Larkin just kind of walked away. So the mayor like took this torch off him, and then the prankster guy just sort of went jokes and just kind of drifted into the crowd. Apparently he didn't really realise until someone came up and sort of had to whisper in his ear, and then like the actual flame came, and all the crowd were kind of like just really baffled by it and kind of like pissed off, and were, like, that's the actual flame, what's going on? And like the like police had to like do a bit of like crowd control to let like the actual flame come through, and everyone thought he was the prankster. And that's
a good one. I mean, I'm looking at photos of the Olympic torch from that year, and it does look, it's pretty shit looking, to be fair. Like, you could easily just make a copy of this. Like, it's not elaborate at all, like you say, like the new ones are.
In this article, I'm not sure if this is a picture of the fake one, because there's a picture in this article, and it doesn't. It implies from the article that it is the fake guy running with it, but I'm not sure it is. It does look kind of naff, but whether or not like that is the real one or not,
it's hard to see like from the sort of quality of that photo.
Yeah,
as well.
But I'm surprised stuff like that hasn't been tried more. I guess in this day and age, it's just harder to do it. Like it mentions in this article, like when the 2000 Sydney Olympics came on, like obviously I guess the next time Sydney hosted it, it made like a news story about it. So the security guards were like proper on it, making sure no one was going to do it. It's kind of like a reenactment. And apparently someone tried to steal it. Someone tried to put it out using a fire extinguisher.
I think every year there's people that try to mess with it, and whether it's just for publicity, whether it's for I guess like a political message or something, because you know, most of the time when a city hosts the Olympics, it's to the detriment of like a lot of people that live in that area, or like people are getting moved out of their homes to you know, to make room for new stadiums that are being built. Well, I was thinking that we were watching like the 2012 opening ceremony earlier.
It's quite funny. Remember like the Queen jump out?
It is a good ceremony, I think.
It is.
It's entertaining.
I didn't realise it was 4 hours long, the whole thing. I thought I'll quickly watch the whole one as well. Like I watched that clip, it was like 4 hours. But like as I was like flicking through it, I was like, God, I think I did watch this all, you know. Like I remembered like I think I did sit down and watch the whole fucking 4 hours. Yeah. Anyway, what the fuck was I just saying?
About putting the torch out.
Oh yeah. No, it's gone.
Anyway, this year I saw the headline at the time when the torch was being, I guess, ran through Tokyo or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think it was a lady that tried to put it out by spraying it with a water pistol. Like, so she got arrested, obviously. I've got the article for that as well. But
while you're finding accurately, that's what you were saying about like houses getting disrupted and stuff like that. We were saying as we were watching the 2012 Olympic ceremony, Gina was like, so what was there before? And I said about the stadium being built and stuff. And I was like, probably poor people's houses.
Yeah.
Like just in Stratford, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And I remember when it was being built, I went on a school trip to the construction site. And
me, you went to a school trip. I was at work.
Well, it must have been about 4 years or so, but actually I remember it was 2000.
I guess it was quite early before, yeah.
I think it was 2009 or 2010, so it was like a lot of the ground had been laid and stuff, but the actual stadium itself wasn't fully built. It was maybe like, you know, got scaffolding up or whatever. I don't know how they build fucking stadiums, but it was just a little bit built. And yeah, we went on a school trip where we got to put on hard hats and walk around, and you know, they told us like where this is going to be, and I guess taught us about site management or something. I don't know, like what goes into building like a massive thing like this. But yeah, I remember being on the coach and sort of driving through Stratford like in a little minibus that the school had got or whatever. And I guess, you know, for anyone who doesn't know Stratford, there's a nice new kind of part of Stratford that has been, I guess, gentrified and is quite expensive. You've got these big high rises and right next to the Olympic Village, and then you've got the, you know, poorer side of Stratford that, you know, is like would have quite a high crime rate and is a little bit neglected. But we're driving through there thinking, we're going on a school trip to fucking Stratford.
Yeah. And it was that weird, like, helter-skelter. Is that the right word? Helter-skelter?
Yeah. I think it's called the Orbit, which is like it's still there. You can go and like...
Yeah, and it like £15. It was something extortion. I remember thinking, like, I'd have a bash on that. It looks quite a really high helter-skelter. It might be a laugh, but I remember it's mad money. Maybe more than 50, like £40 or something stupid.
Yeah, I thought you'd just be able to queue up and go down it, but you've got to actually like book it. It costs money, and you have to... It's so lame. You have to put like a helmet on to go down it and stuff.
Oh, fuck that.
Snowflake.
Yeah, I definitely remember it being like
PC gone
Snowflake
mad.
Generation Accelerator Mitral Orbit. Yeah.
It is apparently the world's tallest, longest tunnel slide.
Which sounds like crack, and I'd have a go on that. All right, maybe I've been a bit exaggerated. It's like £8.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll go on it. It's literally
yeah, maybe I'll go on it. Mate, I swear it used to be way more than that.
Yeah, it's like a 5-minute drive. I'll do it.
Yeah.
For next episode, we'll do a Curio special from the Orbit. Yeah, no, this story about the lady with a water pistol, where is it? There's a video. I didn't see that. 53-year-old woman aiming a water gun at a torchbearer in a relay and spraying it in the direction of the flame. she shouted, "Extinguish the torch fire, I'm against the Tokyo Olympics." That is it, really.
Mm.
It says video shows, but then there's no video in the article. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I reckon you're right. Every year someone probably protests to it.
Yeah.
Because there is generally surrounded in bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah.
I did enjoy the 2012 ones though, I must admit. Like, it was good. It was a general feeling of like fun in the air. Like I went up to I didn't manage to get any tickets to actually see any, but we went to like, remember they put it on like Hyde Park or something, or probably more than one park, but we went to one of the parks.
Right.
And they had like big screens on and stuff like that, and you could get beers. And like, just obviously you could get beers. It was in England, and you could just like stand around drinking and watch the events on the big screen.
That's cool.
And at like some points in between events, they had like gold medal, like Team GB athlete that had won gold, and they came out on the stage and all this like gold and it was like gold, always believe. I think that played, and like everyone cheered and was like, hey, and it was cool. It was a good laugh. I remember like then going back like via Stratford and meeting a friend there. I feel like I had my ukulele for some reason with me and like playing that on the underground like some sort of prick. But like people were like seemingly, at least in my head, people enjoyed it. Yeah, and Stratford was just mad busy. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I never went to any of the actual Olympic events themselves, but I remember the next year they done like I can't remember what it was. It was like a year anniversary since the Olympic Games, and they in the Olympic Stadium they had a lot of the same, all the same athletes come back, and I got they had it over the course of like a week or so, and we got tickets to the last day, which was the one where they had the 100-meter sprint and a couple of the like the household names that were there at the time. So like you saw Usain Bolt come out, give everyone a wave, do a little run. Jessica Ennis comes out and does whatever she used to do, jump and run and stuff. Good day out. Wasn't old enough to drink at the time, so not that great over there.
Yeah. One thing, this is a lame, that really sticks in my head about that day is that I had to get cash out on my credit card, and I found out why you don't get cash out with a credit card. It cost me like an extra like $5 or something. It's ridiculous.
What, is that a thing?
Yeah, but you're not really supposed to get cash out on a credit card. That's not the point, I guess.
I've done it before, and I don't feel like.
But it was like on one of those. It was on one of those machines, so like it cost me extra for that, and it also just cost me like mad interest or something. I don't know. I was really pissed and didn't have any money, so I got like £100 out. Something stupid.
So I've got like I said, I've got a couple. I mean, I've already mentioned the cockroach and the water pistol. This one here.
That day out was with Turkish Glen, by the way, so big up.
Big ups. So this is not recent. This is not from this Olympics. It's actually from the Winter Olympics 3 years ago it was in Sochi, wasn't it? But
yeah, I like it. Forget about the Winter Olympics. That's good.
Yeah, they're good.
I broke my fucking 30 million year old shark tooth, by the way, just sitting there.
Oh, what, just now?
Yeah. Been in the ground like 30 million years. I just fucking had it about a month.
Basically, a snowboarder won the Olympic gold in skiing in the last Winter Olympics in Sochi. And she didn't know that she'd won. And she didn't believe it either. So I don't really get how it happened, and there's even a quote here from an official. How did that happen? So I don't know if anyone knows exactly like the process that led up to it, but Esta Ledecka, she's from the Czech Republic, and she's most well known as a snowboarder, but I guess as a Winter Olympian you sort of might do a bit of snowboarding and skiing.
Yeah, I guess if they don't have a skier, they go like, well, you might as well have a crack.
Yeah, it says she refused to specialise in one sport, and she started racing on the World Cup Alpine circuit 2 years ago. But she was ranked pretty low in terms of Olympic skiers. I think she was ranked like 50th in terms of skiing, which is still great, like being in the top 50 skiers in the world. But, you don't see someone who's 50th in the world get gold in the Olympics, right? And she actually won by 0.01 seconds. So obviously very close. But yeah, and then she didn't believe it. Like, she got to the bottom, and there's actually a picture where you can see her on the podium. She obviously looks fucking like thrilled, and then the two girls standing either side of her look majorly pissed off that like this girl who's a snowboarder has just beaten both at their own sport, like at skiing.
I can't zoom in on it. Oh, there you go. They do look like, I don't know if that's just like one of those well-timed photos, but they just look pissed. She's like, yeah, fuck. Pyeongchang, where's that?
I don't know. I thought it was in
is that like Korea or something?
Yeah, was the Sochi one like the Winter Olympics before last, maybe?
I don't know. That's got to be quite, what's her name? Quite niche, really, isn't it? Like, getting into, like, how'd you get into skiing? Like, that's got to be quite a posh, privileged sport to get into, innit? Unless you live in a place where there's just shitloads of ice.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's that. I think if you live nearby a mountain, you know, you can go, like, people just go on the weekend and stuff, don't they?
But for like an English Team GB skier or something, that's got to be fairly privileged, isn't it? Or like a
yeah, you'd have to have like maybe born here, have English parents, but you moved to Italy or something when you was younger, and like
they probably do that, and you decide to compete for Team GB because it's easier to get in that team.
Yeah, it was like today I was watching, and there was I think she was a hurdler maybe, and she was from Puerto Rico, but she had just the most American accent, you know, there is, and obviously Puerto Rico, South America. She's probably born in Puerto Rico, maybe has Puerto Rican parents, but has probably spent a lot of time in America, and you know, speaks with a really American accent. So I imagine, but I don't think there is any.
You can sort of choose, can't you, which team you want to?
Yeah. I think if you're like dual nationality.
Yeah.
But it is mad that all the Russians as well now can't, because Russia's been kicked out of the Olympics, haven't they? Like, you can't.
Oh yeah, I forget about it. Well, they're just straight up not in it.
Yeah. So, because basically so many of their athletes were caught like blood doping or whatever they call it. And just basically just on shitloads of like, you know, performance enhancing drugs and shit. Russia have just been completely kicked out of the Olympics. I don't know how long for, whether it's
pretty mad,
just this year or if it's like 10 years, 50 years, whatever. But all the Russian athletes now have to compete under the like banner of Russian Olympic Committee, which is why it says like ROC. So they are still obviously, I guess, representing Russia, but technically Russia are not in the Olympics. It's just a
that's bullshit.
It's just a company called Russian Olympic Committee, I think.
So they are in it.
Yeah, which I think is fair. Like, imagine you was a Russian athlete and you hadn't been cheating. You know, you're all legit. You haven't been doping or anything. And then just because there are a bunch of like, you know, dodgy cunts doing loads of drugs, you suddenly can't compete. So I think it's still fair those people get to go out there and, you know, compete in their sport. But yeah, I think
it's a bit of a fallacy though, banning them and then they're just in it anyway. That's not really.
Yeah, I don't really get how
I don't get
it works. I think it's like maybe I don't know. Like, if you win a gold, does that mean that like your country gets a little bit of funding or something or whatever?
Probably not. Know. Just sort of like national pride, and it's bullshit, really. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. See, I think that is really cool. Is like that refugee team.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen.
There's like a team that are entirely refugees, and they're like,
have they won any?
I don't know what their team name is. I'm not sure, you know. But yeah, it's entirely made up of people that basically are refugees, so you know, like don't have a representative country.
Refugee Olympic team. Let's have a look. Have they got any medals yet? Probably not, right? Like, it's not.
I have.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not like they're got a shitload of funding.
No, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, they've got no medals yet. Hopefully they get one. But yeah, I was reading about how I guess like British athletes are funded, because I think it was, when was it that it was in Atlanta? I think it was like 2000 or something. But not too long ago, like 20 years ago, the UK or Great Britain only got one gold medal, I think, in the Olympics, or maybe it was one medal in total. But
yeah,
when was it? I think it was whenever it was in Atlanta, 1996. So 25 years ago, the UK only got one medal or one gold, and now we get we got one gold, 8 silver, 6 bronze. So not great, right? Like that's pretty naff compared to what we get now. And basically the reason why we get so much now is just the amount of money that's been pumped into it. So I think where a portion of all the money from like the national lottery goes into GB Sport, and then they allocate how much money goes into a certain sport based on how likely we are to do well at that sport. So sports that we're already good at, like sailing and cycling and stuff, they get like tens of millions pumped into them every year to build better facilities and get the best trainers and doctors for these athletes and the best equipment. But then sports that we're just shit at, like what are we shit at? I guess like we're not great at sprinting, maybe, or like
probably just or it's just generally quite popular, isn't it? None of it.
Yeah, or I guess like any winter sports we're not very good at, like snowboarding and skiing. They get barely any money. Like they'll be lucky to get like $1 million a year or something, like for the whole sport. But it works. Like now we actually get like a good amount of medals. Like
it's silly, really, isn't it? Because it's sort of like a false economy. Like, well, it's like you're not going to get it unless you fund it, and then if you fund it, you're not.
Yeah,
it's silly. There's a really interesting documentary. It's called like Knockout or something, and it's about like the disparity between like professional boxers and amateur boxers. So like, obviously, to be in Olympics, you have to be an amateur, didn't you? But maybe that's not the case anymore. Like you used to. You couldn't be
I think
professional.
So.
I think they must have got rid of that, because obviously all these climbers are professional climbers.
I think maybe it's different on boxing, because I did see some boxing today and they were wearing headgear.
Yeah, they do wear headgear, but it was like this boxer guy, and he went down the Olympics route, and it's basically like the whole thing in America. They were saying they always used to dominate the boxing, and the whole point of this film was they haven't in a while, because anyone that gets any good at boxing, like why would you go down the Olympic route of no money? Whereas you can go and have a couple of fights and make loads of money if you go down a professional route. And there's this one dude, and like the difference in the amount of fight, he has like 200 fights in like a year, and there's this other guy that's had like one, and he's made like $1 million or something from this fight, and these other guys made nothing. And like, and they can't even really get the funding. It's so weird. This made me laugh as well, just thinking about like America and people in the Olympics and stuff. This was about the skateboarding. I was kind of thinking this when I was watching it. I was like thinking about the culture of skateboarding. It was like, America got bronze in skateboarding, ! We truly are a culture in decline. And someone else has commented, that's what happens when you send the skaters that can pass a drug test. It's like, I kind of thought that.
That's true.
Wonder that with climbers as well. Like all the best skateboarders are definitely just stoners, and especially in America, and probably a good chunk of the best climbers. Don't mind a bit of weed.
It is weird with the skateboarding being in the Olympics, because like the whole, I guess, that skateboarding culture is meant to be like this sort of underground, like you're all a bit like sort of like fuck the system, anti-establishment type thing, and then it's like, okay, now it's in the Olympics, and you know,
so you do wonder from that as well. Gina was saying a similar thing about climbing. Like, are there loads of climbers out there and stuff that are just like, well, that's not for me, but they could smash it.
Yeah, maybe.
Same with the skateboarding, probably like that, where they're just like, I ain't going for that shit. Like,
it's mad how young all the skateboarders are as well. They're like 13, 14, a lot of these skateboarders. Yeah. But then I was watching like the BMXing, and a lot of them are like 35, 37 or so. And I thought that was like a weird sort of disparity. I don't know why. I don't know why that is.
Maybe it's a bit more physical, and you need...
Yeah, I don't know, or maybe a bit more technical, and like you need years of experience before you can do certain tricks, whereas skateboarding, maybe you can pick it up quicker. I don't know.
Don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess the last thing worth talking about is this Olympian. I don't know what she was, what her sport is, so I didn't actually read any further than the headline. But she, US Olympian Shelby Houlihan, blames burrito for positive drug test. I thought it was like a little bit of a callback to an old episode. I think it was one where it was me, George, and Ziggy, where some guy was trying to smuggle drugs through an airport with
I remember that. I listened to that one,
in a breakfast burrito. But okay, she's a long distance runner. She's been banned for 4 years following a positive test for steroids, which she blames on a pork burrito that she brought from a food truck. So yeah, she tested positive for nanodrolone, a banned steroid.
I mean, it's not overly surprising. It's not overly impossible from America, though, is it? With all the shit they pump into their food.
Yeah, maybe.
So I can see why she's gone for that claim. It was dismissed.
Although, I mean, did she make it there and she bought it from like a,
well, this might have even been if she wasn't even allowed in the team. It might be what they're saying.
Okay.
The ban will effectively bar her from participating in the 2010 Olympic Games. So this was a while back. So she'd have just been generally banned from stuff.
Yeah.
So she qualified, and then you're banned generally from competing. Which I heard about saying it was like that. There was that runner, wasn't there, as well? There was famously she was banned, which again banned from competing, which by default ruled her out of the Olympics. Even though it was like by the time she was an American runner, like sprinter, and she would have been like really on for gold, quite a big name in sprinting, and she was banned from competing, but her ban would have expired by the time she got to the Olympics.
Okay.
But they still decided not to pick her in the team because she'd like been banned. It's a bit bullshit, but it was just for weed. And it was one of those things where everyone's also talking. Yeah. It's like, how is that? It's not a performance-enhancing drug. Like, if anything, it's the opposite. It's like, if you can still smoke a bit of weed and still win Olympic gold, like, if anything, you should get like extra points. Like, what the fuck? I can't even bother to like go downstairs and get food sometimes, let alone win a 100-meter race.
But it says here that she bought food from a Mexican food truck near her home in Beavertown, which sounds American, not Japanese. She said the food truck uses pig organ meat or offal in its burritos, and the offal is known to have high levels of nanodrolone. She said she'd never even heard of it. She had to Google it when she tested positive for it.
It's probably true. That sounds pretty legit, to be fair. Like, it's a far out fucking excuse if that's not true.
Yeah.
Who fucking knows?
Yeah, that is it for my Olympic stories.
Olympics, big ups.
Big ups. Tune in next year for our Winter Olympics special. Or we should do a Paralympic special in like a month or two.
We should do, really.
Or is that a bit distasteful?
Well, it depends.
No, our whole thing's distasteful, isn't it?
Yeah, it depends what angle we go for, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not... well, we'll do an Instagram live as we, or at least an Instagram story as we go down the hill skewer.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Doing our day off next week. All right,
yeah. Thanks for listening. Oh, yeah, we didn't even address the fact that George is not here this episode. We just kind of cracked on with it.
Yeah.
Well, he's been really quiet. He hasn't been able to get a word in this whole episode. George isn't here. He's
I didn't have time to plan anything.
No.
Anything ridiculous.
And we don't know why. We just
no idea. Absolutely no idea. I haven't heard from him.
No. Yeah. But Rob's back. Didn't even address the fact that you wasn't here the last 2 weeks.
Maybe one of my alien dread things. Fucking, I can't remember what you guys said.
I can't remember.
One of my alien dreadlock creatures got out and got into George's brain and silenced him. I think that's what's happened.
All right.
Cool.
Thanks for listening.
See you in a bit.